All right, top of the morning to you guys. I'm Magnus Walker back in downtown LA. Another P-Car segment. Today I'm here to talk about the 8th generation of the 911, or as they call it over there in Stuttgart, the 992. So bear with me a moment because this gets a little confusing. This is a Carrera S. That's one step up from the base model. This is the two-wheel drive variation of that car. It comes in 2- or 4-wheel drive. Here's the interesting thing though, it's not the King of the Hill Turbo S, but it runs a 3-liter twin turbocharged motor that pumps out 443 horsepower and about 390 foot-pound of torque. It's not badged as a turbo, it's badged as a Carrera. It's what some Porsche people would call the non-turbo turbo. So that's the story of the car. You know, today in a sea of look at me paint to sample color combos, this car looks awesome in the base color Aventurine green. We're going to wait for that plane to fly over one sec. Of course, it's early morning in downtown LA on a Sunday, so that does mean everyone's flying over the top. So anyway, back to this color. To me, it's striking because everything about this car is ordered off of the configurator. Now that means it's not a special wishes, it's not a look at me paint to sample, but it looks awesome in this Aventurine green. To me, whoever spec'd this car at Porsche did an awesome job. I think maybe they might have been looking at a short wheelbase early car, and that'll become apparent in a little bit when we show you how the car was optioned. So let's take a look at it. You know, to me, cosmetically, the car looks awesome, but we've got to show you what is special about this car, so I want you to take a look on inside. Remember, it's a 992, but the thing that may surprise you is it's a 3-pedal car. So let me show you what I'm on about. We'll take a little look inside. Got to be careful with these door handles. You know, they caught me out once or twice, kind of snapping on your hand type of thing. But what makes this car really special for a 992 is, if we get on in there in the footwell, you look at that, that is 3 pedals. A clutch, a brake, and an accelerator. And basically you shift through that 7-speed manual transmission. Now you see right there, we've got the wood dash. We have these awesome woven seats, which are super duper grippy. And then we'll get into all the dynamics when we go for a drive. But if we come around here, essentially what we have is 55 years of 911. This is one of my favorite cars, my Irish green short wheelbase 1966. Stands out in a sea of cars. It's on the steel wheels, but we're talking about the trim. You know, this is the early inspired brush trim. This is the early chrome plated brass trim. And if you come around here and take a look inside, we'll show you where that sort of beautifully spec 992 comes in with the early short wheelbase signature wooden dash inlay. Just zoom up on into that and go over there to that 911 glove box right there with that early 911 script. So anyway, enough of me comparing the two cars. This appears to be the inspiration. I got to get out wherever it is, what I call the key to happiness. I probably left it in the jam jar for a quick getaway. So let's get on the road and we'll see how this thing drives. You know, when Porsche released the turbo in the US back in 1976, they actually called that model the Turbo Carrera. Today though, they just call this a Carrera S, even though we do know it is turbocharged. For me though, what I really like about it is right here, stick shift. You know, we're in 6th gear right now, climbing up the hill. We are going into 7th. People may say, do you need a 7th gear? But to me, this is a perfect place to use it. We're dropping the revs down low, we're cruising. We're actually making pretty good speed. So we're heading towards one of my favorite roads right there. This is what I call the run to the hill section. Going through the gears, 5th gear, 6th gear. We are getting back into 7th. It's kind of a deceptive as to how quick this car will cruise at. It's a little stealth, and we're still in normal mode. We haven't even gone through the sport mode and the sport plus. But we'll save that for when we get into the hills. So what I find myself doing in the Carrera S is I really have to look at the speedo, because you're going a whole lot faster than it actually seems. So keep your eye on the speedo, keep your eye peeled around, and make the most of every moment. I'm just going to drop it a cog I see a P car up there. I'm going to go back down to 5th gear. Now, yeah, in a PDK, that would all have happened probably a whole lot quicker instantly when I put my foot down. But it is pretty engaging. Let's see the little car we're going to come up on right here. Check out another Porsche. We'll give him the Porsche wave, of course. Check that out. Appears to be a turbo. Give him the wave. 996 turbo right there. Give him the thumbs up. Always do that when we're on the road. So, this little button on the steering wheel here, drive mode. Now we're going to see how sport mode is. Let's see how it goes up the canyon. Gear up to 5th. Car does have a ton of grip, mechanical grip. These are some pretty nice sweepers up here. So last time I was out on this road, it was in the King of the Hill Turbo S. Now we're in the Carrera S. 2-wheel drive as opposed to 4. Obviously it's not as explosive, it's down about 200 horsepower. But I have to tell you, with it being manual, 2-wheel drive, sport mode, it's pretty engaging already. And we got Sport Plus to get to, so let's keep on cracking on. Almost a red line in 2nd gear there, comes up really quick. Climbing, 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 6,000, 7,000 RPM, grab 4th. Carrying quite a lot of speed right here. Obviously we don't want to show that. Sweep in, back to gas, got a geezer out there, give him a wave. This may just be the only car you really need. You know, I did say that about the Turbo S. Obviously that performance level is quite a lot higher, but this is probably just as engaging, I've got to say. So, being the Carrera S, Sport Chrono comes as standard. I haven't actually figured out exactly how you work that yet. I've got to get out the manual for that bit, but let's crack on. I love the way it turns in. I love the fact that it's 2-wheel drive. It's a different feeling of the 4-wheel drive that pulls and pushes. It's just pushes, keeping the revs up above 4,500 RPM. That sweet spot right there. Trying to feed it in. Oh, grab another cog, repeat and go. All right. So to sum it up, I suppose, Carrera S 2-wheel drive turbo. I have to say, it is super alive. The car moves and dances around. In a way, it reminds me a little bit of a turbocharged GT3, like my 996. You know, in the sense of it feels analog. You're shifting and blipping throttle, left foot braking. The car's not doing too much for you like the Turbo S does. You basically have to control it. It's alive, it's energized, and you know, it's a lot of fun. It carries a lot of speed, but it's just, I think it is the more engaging of the two cars. So my 2 cents opinion, maybe the car you need really is the turbo non-turbo Carrera 2S. Of course, manual, 7-speed. You know, what a way to stand out at a Cars and Coffee, have fun on the way, but when you get there, hey, I'm on a manual, right? So that's the way to be. H.